Hey, how's it going?
Is
Yep.
that a is that a reference to the Ghost movie?
My username?
Your name? Yeah.
It's just a string of words that I like
Oh.
Bad Boy Slim right here, right now. Yeah, I don't
Hmm.
know.
Well, the Ghost just had a live album come out. The artist
Oh
Ghost.
yeah, yeah.
The
That's also another example. Right here, right now. Yeah, yeah. From the
yeah,
band, yeah.
yeah. I
Day
was
to
just
Remember has
wondering.
some lyrics. Right here, right now. Yeah, and it's a pretty common phrase. I just like the way the words sound. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, I'm a big Ghost fan. Do you accept God as your creator?
I don't. I don't.
What the hell? Robbie, I didn't mean to kick you, my guy. Play. Hang on. I can let you back up. What was it? The singing that did it, Robbie?
I'm
Host
back
is
for the
host
encore.
is
What's up?
gay.
I'm just
What?
kidding.
What is this? You're muted until you're nice. All right. Uh, can you can you explain to me how it is that God doesn't exist?
Oh yeah, so um the Christian God is revelatory, right?
Yes.
Like he wants to have a personal relationship with his creation.
Hang on, Robbie. Could you get rid of this guy talking about YT people? It's hang on. Let me mute him. Oh, I did mute him. How is he still coming up? All right, sorry. You get these atheist trolls are throwing me off. Go ahead, repeat yourself. I'm sorry.
So the Christian God is revelatory. Is that right?
It- yeah,
He wants to have a
he's revealed.
relationship with his
He's made his existence clear and through natural and special revelation.
right, clearly known to every one of his creation, right?
Yeah,
And then you mentioned modus ponens. Um and I assume that you know what a contrapositive is, right? Uh,
right.
okay, so my argument would just be if the Christian God exists, then I would know it. I don't know it. Therefore, the Christian God doesn't exist.
Well, you can claim not to know it. I'll take you at your word, but the
Um,
Bible says otherwise. But that's fine. We can go from there.
yeah, but would you agree that if I'm not lying, then that argument would be valid and sound?
Yeah, yeah. If you had no, it's about what you know, and if you have no access to it, if you don't know or can't know that God's real, then if my book says that you do know, then
Yeah, but it couldn't be the case that I don't have access to it or I don't know it, right?
it yeah, I believe it's not the case. I believe you do know, but
Mhm.
if it were the case that you didn't know, then yeah, you'd falsify that part of the Bible.
And if the Bible is like the inerrant word of God, if somebody falsified that part, would you be skeptical about the other claims of the Bible?
Sure.
Hmm.
I'm not like I don't take everything in the Bible to be 100%. It depends on what we're talking about.
Do you
But
think that? Do you think that like?
generally,
Oh, sorry.
it's I mean, it's the word of God generally.
Hmm. Do you think that
From
there've been any people in history, let's say like before like Jesus walked the earth, or anybody in some indigenous place who were born, never heard anything about Christ and died?
Yeah, sure, but I mean, I'm not God. If you're asking me like if they went to heaven or hell or whatever, I don't know. It's
Well, no, but what I'm saying is they could have admitted, believed, and confessed, even though they'd never heard of Christ, because they had special and general revelation that God exists, because
well,
God is.
not everybody has special revelation, but everybody has natural revelation.
Okay, yeah, I guess I was just saying it to cover the categories of revelation. So yeah.
Right. So yeah, not everybody's gonna have access to like the Bible.
Right. Well, but presumably God was revelatory before the Bible.
Yeah. Well, he's revelatory to everybody through nature.
Um, well, okay, so look at the trees, like flower, therefore God, kind of deal.
Yeah, you don't even need a whole flower. You can say like one blade of grass, therefore God.
Okay, can you like walk me through that like chain of inference?
Because well, I mean, I use a transcendental argument. I don't do like a uh, the words lost on me. I don't do like a
Like
fucking
syllogisms or deductive arguments or something?
William Lane Craig thing about like uh
Everything that begins to exist has a cause.
well
Therefore, yeah.
no like God, why can't I think of this word? Wow, what's the whole the the whole apologetic
Presup?
of nature? Guys, comments,
The
help me
the
out. What?
uniformity of nature?
No,
Presupposition?
not that. No, not modal. Ah, this is gonna drive me crazy. Is there nobody in here
Yeah.
that
I assume it's
is
the word I'm thinking of is
smarter than
transcendental,
me?
but what you said,
Natural theology. That's fine, I
oh,
guess. But that's not the word I'm looking for.
I don't think natural theology
There,
doesn't sound familiar to me.
there's different types of apologetics, right? Uh, not not teleology. Am I talking
No, yeah, no,
about
he does invoke
teleological?
teleology.
Okay, there we go. Whatever. I think that yeah, that's what I was looking for. Not abducted. Everybody, okay, everybody, shut up now.
Yeah.
So go ahead. What? Where were we?
No, I think we were at but you do think that like a blade of grass is like references God or is like infers God.
Evidentialism.
I was looking for teleology. I don't know why it was so hard. Sorry.
Oh, what's
Yeah,
up,
a
Precept?
single blade of grass proves God. Yeah.
Okay. Could you even like think like let's say we're like getting inside somebody's head who does those kinds of arguments. If premise one is there exists a blade of grass, and the conclusion of that is therefore God, what would that argument look like?
Well, I wouldn't build. I would use a transcendental argument. I would
Right.
just say that the universe, you can't account for anything in your reality without God as the necessary precondition.
How does God account for his knowledge?
How does God account for his knowledge?
Yeah, like what does knowledge mean to God?
I mean, I don't know everything about God in his mind. Like, I know what he's revealed in the Bible and through Revelation, but I can't answer a bunch of questions about like his nature because I only know so much as a human.
Um, okay, so like let's say like before creation and like God's choosing to create, like what does knowledge mean to that being?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Okay, so it sounds like when you're saying that without God you don't have any of the necessary preconditions for knowledge and intelligibility. It sounds
Right.
like you yourself when like ask about like what bootstraps knowledge also don't have very good answers for that, right?
So, wait, I'm sorry. Say the last part again. I got Sir surprised me in my
Like when asking other people how they ground knowledge and intelligibility, and let's say they give some like
right.
naturalistic account or some scientific explanation, right? You agree that
No.
their explanation is as good as yours, right? Because when
Oh
asked
no no
about
no
what
no no
bootstraps knowledge
no.
on yours, you said I don't know.
Oh well, no. Because atheists lack the capacity to make any affirmations or denials that are rationally based.
What? Just say that one more time.
Atheists atheists don't have like the ability to make any affirmations or denials that are like based in reason and rationality.
Yeah, they
Because
need
they have no
like a
ultimate reference point.
Right. And I'm talking about the ultimate reference point for God would be his reasons and his knowledge, right?
Not his reasons and his knowledge, just he is what actualizes.
Yeah. What's like the
Uh,
mechanism?
I mean, I don't need to know the ins and outs of the engine of my car
Okay.
to drive it,
What
but
if like an atheist told
God
you like I don't need
does
to
the
know the ins
mechanic.
and outs of of the way that I express these attitudes to know that like through some heuristic they have been proven reliable.
Well, yeah, they are, but they are reliable. See, here's the thing. A lot of people get confused with transcendental arguments. I'm not saying atheists can't be rational. I'm saying that they can be rational by virtue of the fact that they live in the God world, whether they want to acknowledge it or not.
You think it's rational to
Who
make
let this guy
statements?
back up?
You think it's irrational to make statements without reference to the necessity of God for the intelligibility of those statements? Pre-Sup Mars, do you hear this?
What?
He thinks it's rational to make statements without appealing to the necessity.
No, I'm
of God,
saying that
the
an
intelligibility
atheist.
of those statements.
Yeah, because here's what I mean. I know what you just said because God exists, and you're the one who's claiming that we can have a conversation sans God, but you can't actually defend that not God world.
He's saying I agree with what he's saying. He's
Wait.
saying that we both have knowledge. It's just that like the Christian's knowledge is going to have like a justification where the atheist wouldn't because their background information.
No, he said they can be rational.
Yeah, but
Not
wait, but if
you
God
have
can't have
access to
justification,
rationality.
if you don't know what
because of
justifies
God.
God's
Atheists
knowledge,
can be rational, but atheism is not rational.
Yeah.
I understand what you're
but
saying. You're saying that like atheists, because God exists, can be rational due to the fact that God exists, and we're fortunate to like exist in a world where God has made it to where atheists can be rational. I get what you're saying, but if we don't know what like justifies knowledge for God, why couldn't it just be some confusing nonsense that the same way that atheists like reason in your mind?
Because that's not biblical. The Bible doesn't say that it's like nonsense.
Okay, then what does it say that knowledge is for God?
I don't know I don't understand your question about what knowledge is for God.
Yeah, like when God when God uses like the word knowledge, what does he mean? Right?
I don't know what you mean. Are you talking about like what is the properties of knowledge in God's God brain?
Right, like let's say you have like a JTB theory of knowledge, right? Obviously, God's knowledge isn't going to be simply a justified true belief in the same way that humans is, right? Because we don't know things that are happening 1,000 years from now, but God does.
No, God doesn't need to justify. God knows the truth. He doesn't need to justify his beliefs and have he's not.
It would be some form of like Cartesian certainty. He would just know.
Like God doesn't have like approximate knowledge. It doesn't make sense.
His knowledge is constructive. Our knowledge is derivative.
So the foundation for knowledge and intelligibility doesn't have justified beliefs.
What is the point you're getting to? I don't understand where you're getting at.
Yes, right here is cooking, you guys. I'm loving this.
So to bring it back to your true dichotomy question from earlier, God's beliefs are either justified or not justified, and you just said that they weren't justified.
You're acting like God is this like operator within a grander context, and that God has to like justify his belief. I don't know.
You think God doesn't have to justify his beliefs? You think God has unjustified beliefs?
No, he is the justification.
And by justification, what do we mean by justification there? Like inference that raises the probability of something being true?
Oh my God! God constructs truth. God constructs knowledge. He has direct access to knowledge because he creates knowledge.
Okay, so when he creates knowledge, what does he mean by knowledge there? Is it like a justified true belief?
It's like direct knowledge.
And by knowledge, what do we mean there? Do we mean direct, justified true belief?
Knowledge. Direct access to knowledge. He constructs knowledge. It's direct knowledge.
And when we say direct knowledge and access to knowledge, I know what direct means. I know what access means. What do we mean by knowledge there?
Wait, Mars cut out.
Now we're doing the definition game.
This is what they do. He's a defying guy. No, here's the thing. God creates the world.
Yeah. No. Define knowledge. Don't run from his question.
Knowledge
I won't let him up.
About the world. Any knowledge I have about the world derives and depends upon God who has created it and sustained it. And if you don't overtalk me, you'll understand my answer, mob. Any knowledge I derive from the world, that knowledge derives from God who creates and sustains it. It is because of God that I can look up and say the fucking sky is blue or the grass is green.
Oh, I understand. Okay, so
Then why you keep asking about God justifying his beliefs to be true? What are you talking about?
Because I think you're equivocating on knowledge. When you say that you can obtain knowledge about the world,
a jibber jabber. I think you're dodging and prevaricating.
What am I dodging about? Wait, what? You're not even questioning me.
We're giving because we told you that God is his knowledge is constructive and it's direct, right? And then ours is derivative from God's knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And so to ask like for God to justify his beliefs is like a category error because like God is the justification for he's the ultimate standard for any truth.
Okay, so I guess my question would be, when you say that you can obtain knowledge about states of affairs because of God, when you use knowledge there, and when you say God has knowledge, does knowledge mean the same thing in both of those cases?
Look, the God of the Bible
turning to his vomit. You hear this shit?
The
like
God
we
of the
answer the question. It's unbelievable.
Wait, no, you said God is the source of justification.
He has imposed.
He constructs knowledge. He creates knowledge.
Yes, I agree.
He created the world,
and
he
okay,
imposes,
can you obtain knowledge?
Shut up a second. He has imposed. He's it's a concrete oneness and manyness. You know, any facts that we derive from the universe are based on that which he is sustaining.
It's a concrete oneness and manyness. You hear that?
Yeah, I heard that.
It is. And it's funny that you would say that because there's nothing in your non-Christian worldview that concretely unifies any distinctions that you would claim are real.
Pretty boy, do you deny the special Neoplatonic revelation from the Neoplatonic one?
This is what they have to do. This is what they have to do. They have to LARP because they can't defeat the Christian God.
Wait, I have an actual question.
Oh, for once. At least you've conceded the other questions were dumb and not actual questions. What's your actual question?
Well, okay. That characterization aside, when you say knowledge, are you meaning the same thing by the word knowledge as when you say that God creates knowledge?
God creates the world. We derive our knowledge from God and his creation.
Yeah. So when you know something and when God knows something, does know mean the same thing there in both instances?
God knows that when I look at the sky, I know that it's blue.
Yeah, God knows, and then you know. Does know mean the same thing there?
Didn't we already go over all this? Why are we going in circles?
Well, it's not a circle if you haven't answered it any of the other times. That's why.
We've already gone over the knowledge, like direct knowledge versus derivative knowledge.
I guess I forgot.
I can't keep going in circles.
Just answer it one more time. I just forgot. I don't understand.
I think we've
maybe
answered
if we answer for the 5th time, he'll get if we answer 5 times, maybe 10. If we answer you 10 times, will you accept the answer? Or
if it's been 4, if it's been 4 so far, maybe 5 will do it.
Maybe 5. Okay, so God.
Wait. Can I ask my question?
Direct knowledge.
Because I don't want to get confused. So, when you say knowledge, in the human case and in the God case, does knowledge mean the same thing in both of those cases? That's my question. Yes or no?
No, it's an analogical relationship. It's not univocal.
So it doesn't mean the same thing?
It's analogical. It's not univocal.
Right. So does that mean, because those big words are confusing me, does that mean that they're not the same thing?
Those words, the words are too big for you, huh?
Wait,
I'll use simple words for you, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
God knows things
in the same way that humans know things, right? Or no?
It's not. No.
Okay.
No, it's analogical. Which means it's sort of similar or like an analogy.
Yeah, I get analogy. I know that one.
As opposed to a
literal
relationship. Yeah. Which would be a one-to-one relationship.
Yeah.
So it's not a one-to-one relationship. It's an analogical relationship.
Okay.
Literally.
So I guess I just misunderstood because I thought that you guys wanted to have like a substantive dispute. But if you're just saying that like God can like has knowledge in a way that isn't the way that we're using knowledge in the conversation, I don't understand why like like a semantic dispute would be interesting.
I mean, I don't think this semantic dispute is interesting either.
You're the one making it semantical. Fuck.
Wait, but by equivocating on knowledge, that like that's creating this.
We're not equivocating. We just explained for the 5th time that there's a distinction there. You're the one that's trying to get us on some weird equivocation that we're not making.
I'm sorry. I thought when I asked, does knowledge mean the same thing in both cases? You said no.
It doesn't.
Okay, so it would be using the same term to mean two different things.
That's the 6th time. Maybe on the 7th time you'll understand.
One time he'll understand.
My fucking head hurts. You gave me a headache.
Wait, maybe I'll get this one on the first try. How is using the same
Probably
term
not.
in two different ways not equivocating?
Well, an equivocation. An equivocation is when, like, so words have more than one meaning. Did you know that?
I do know that.
Blowing your mind. Wow, you knew that? Yeah. So words have multiple definitions. So, like, an equivocation would be where you'd be using in a word in a sense that it's not like meant to be used for the sake of argument. It's like
Yeah, like if we were talking about gaining knowledge, and by knowledge we meant justified true belief, and then you guys said knowledge, but it didn't mean like some justified chain of reason or something.
It's like, I mean, this is atheism. They can't think abstractly. It's shocking.
Wait. That doesn't follow. Earlier you said I could follow because of God. The only reason I can follow is because
you have the capacity to, because God exists, but
So we agree I have the capacity to. So
not
just
everybody's
explain it.
operating on all. Not all cylinders may be firing.
Wait, I don't understand. So
I don't either. You fucking lost me.
there could be two things going on, right? Right. Either I'm dumb or you guys aren't explaining it well.
Wait, I got a question. What if God had justified true belief but didn't get around the Gettier problem?
Gettier problem, there's already an answer to that.
Oh.
I mean, like Gettier cases are just going to be.
Justified true belief isn't the only definition of knowledge. I'm so sick of hearing you say justified true belief.
Nobody said that it was.
God's epistemology isn't like, he's not fucking exploring a world trying to understand it. I'm tired of, just shut up already. Let's get to the something of substance. Let's get to like a good debate.
Okay.
What do you want to talk about? Tell me
what does it mean for God to have knowledge? I didn't posit JTV. Okay, we can go back to the original argument I was like posing, because I mean it seems like we were at least making headway there, and I'll just restate the argument again so we can be back on track. Premise 1: if the Christian God exists, I would know it. Premise 2: it's not the case that I know it. Conclusion: the Christian God does not exist. Do we agree that if I'm not lying, that's valid and sound?
Yeah, but you have to prove that God didn't reveal himself to you.
Right. So, but that was why it was conditional. Do we agree that if I'm not lying, then that argument is valid and sound?
Yeah,
sure. It's not whether you're lying or not. You're gonna have to you have to provide evidence for the position, right? So how did you determine that something can exist with independence of God?
Well, that wasn't part of my argument.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I'm not convinced that the premise that God hasn't revealed himself to you is sound, and there's no way for you to demonstrate that. We can't read each other's minds. So you can just state, you can assert to everyone, God hasn't revealed himself to me. But I mean, we're not going to get is that what you think a substantive argument is?
No.
Because I mean, that'd just be like me going, well, God revealed himself to me, therefore he exists. Right?
Yeah.
You would want me to argue like,
well, no, because you guys make a stronger claim.
Look at this guy.
Well, I'm saying, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought you said, wait, I thought you said that God revealed himself to all members of his creation.
Yeah, but
yes.
What P. Mars is saying is, if I just said, if I have this fucking background and you come up and say prove it, and I say, well, he revealed himself to me, and that's all I say, you wouldn't be convinced. So if you come up and say, well, he didn't reveal himself to me, okay, that's not going to convince me either.
Right.
I gave a transcendental argument,
But
and you don't accept it, and that's fine. But the thing is, now you have to actually defend your not God world.
so, but do we agree though? If there was one instance of one person who like didn't know that God existed, that it would falsify the claim that God revealed Himself to all of His creation.
We already said all this.
Not about knowledge. It's about revelation, right? So you could be suppressing the truth and unrighteousness, and not people self-deceive themselves all the time. So it's not. So God could reveal Himself, and you just like convince yourself that He didn't. Like
Okay.
flat earthers or something.
Yeah,
So-
I just got out of a fucking panel for like 2.5 hours. Paruk was talking about aliens and faking the moon landing. Like, people can suppress true things or invent false things.
Like, even if the Christian God wanted you to not be able to do that?
What?
So like if the mind of God wanted a relationship with me, how can my mind rationalize that away when I'm going against like the Almighty God's mind?
Ooh, good question.
How can my imagination be more powerful than God's revelation?
God doesn't like completely force Himself onto you. Like, He makes it known, and you can suppress that truth because you're not perfect. You're autonomous. God gave you free will. Okay.
Free will.
Yeah, but is it better that I have free will and have the option to go against God since He wants a relationship with me, or is it better that I'm a robot who accepts God since He wants to have a relationship with me?
I don't understand your question. I disagree with the premise.
If the goal, well, if you don't understand the question, I don't understand why you're disagreeing with the premise.
Now you made PMARS leave with your silly questions.
Well, so I guess
Can you mute Placid Saul?
if the goal is to have a relationship with me, would it be better if I had free will and could choose to turn against Him, or didn't have free will and we had a relationship? Which one of those would be more conducive to God's aim?
Wait, hang on. I'm doing something with the chat.
You're good.
Oh, I can't invite Kaysen because he's in timeout
his
again.
account's private, I think. Do you deny the natural and special revelation revealed to us?
I joined at like the end of yours mob, but were you doing like atheist precept?
I was before, yeah.
Yeah, he's
Now
clowning.
I'm doing Neoplatonic 1
He's
precept.
showing his ass. So, okay. Can I just try to like understand your not God world for a minute instead of I don't know what your goal here is, to prove that God didn't reveal Himself to you.
No, I was past that. I think. Can I ask my question one more time? And if you don't understand, then we can go back to your like way of doing it.
Yeah, back to like my life being my life, please.
Yeah. Okay.
You're
So
right here.
if God's goal was to have a relationship with me, would it be better that I have free will and I could choose to not have a relationship, or would it be better that I didn't have free will and we had a relationship? If His goal was to have a relationship, which one of those would be more conducive to God's aim?
God values consent, so He's going to give you the will to decide whether or not you want to be with Him or not. He's not gonna. I mean, it would be, as you know, you can make fun of God, but it would be sad to make a bunch of people who have no choice but to be in a relationship with you. Like, it's the difference between, making friends and like having a bunch of sex robots. You know what I mean?
But if God's if God's aim was to bring about the best of all possible worlds, why would it be better that like bad things can happen than people didn't have free will but no bad things ever happen?
I mean, I don't want to go down a whole line of questioning, like, well, why? How come God did it this way? Why didn't God do it that way? I'm not interested.
Okay, but under there's some.
Look, man, it ain't that deep. Eat Cheez-Its, nerd gummy clusters, drink some V8 mango peach punch, kiss your girl and tuck your dog into bed and watch some One Piece and play Overwatch and troll people. But of fucking course, put the guap above all. That money.
Is that a quote from something? That was awesome.
Bars.
You let me up. I gotta go now.
God damn it!
Yeah, no.
I know
You let me up the wrong.
came from.
I guess the way that I think about it is that if you were given like characteristics about a world and you were asked like, do you think that like an all good God would create this world? I just think that if you were
I just don't want to do the Phil Bro thing where we spend hours, I'm not fucking Amdir. I don't want to talk about what God's intentions or this. What if a God did this or that? I can't read God's mind. I'm just some dude. I don't know, man. Ask God.
by you can't read God's mind, do you mean that you don't have like access to like God's reasons for doing certain things over other
What
things?
I know about God is what He's revealed in Revelation. I'm just a human, though. When we start getting into the weeds of, well, wouldn't God want to instantiate this instead of that? It's like, I can't speak for God. I can only speak for the fact that God exists.
But that's a problem for your view, though, right? Because
It's not a problem for me that I don't know everything about the ins and outs of God's plan. All I know is that He has a redemptive plan.
but that commits you to skeptical theism.
No.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. I can know God exists without knowing His mind completely.
Sorry. No, skeptical theism is just the belief that you don't have access to the reasons that guide God's conduct. And I thought that you just said that you didn't have access to those reasons.
I have access to a special revelation.
Right.
I
Do you have access
to
to
the
all
fact
the
that He
reasons that guide
exists.
God's conduct?
I don't need to know everything. That doesn't make sense. There's no, you can't. You're saying that you're not a non-skeptical theist if you like have the omniscient knowledge of an omniscient God.
No, I'm saying that
That's
skeptical
nonsense.
theism is the belief that we don't have access to all the reasons
I'm
that guide God's
skeptical
actions.
this conversation is gonna go anywhere.
Well, if you disagree that that's what that like those terms mean, I wasn't like asking. I was letting you know that that's what that like means in like as like the same way like transcendentals have like a definition or something. I'm saying
Is
that
the ultimacy of reality a concrete one or a concrete many?
I'm not sure.
Okay, bye-bye.
Slam dunk,
bye-bye.
I guess. That was
User,
crazy.
I hope you're smarter than the last guy.
Oh.
Do you accept God as your creator?
No.
Okay,
was
can you please
insane.
explain how it is that God doesn't exist?
I was cooking.
I can't.
Yeah, I was cooking.
Oh, okay.
Dude.
So that's it then.
So why should I?
So I don't know what happens when I turn the volume down on this like screen recording thing, but basically the problem that we were going to run into with that guy was if he was saying that he didn't have access to the reasons that guide God's conduct, and that's going to entail that's what skeptical theism is. Skeptical theism is like the belief that we don't have access to all the reasons that guide God's conduct. And what skeptical theism is going to entail is global skepticism, because if we don't have access to God's reasons, then God could have a sufficient reason to allow any of your senses to be deceived. He could allow for you to believe that murder was right and you could be incorrect about that, or murder was wrong and you could be incorrect about that. He could have you believe that when you're when you're reading the Bible, he could have reasons to systematically deceive you about what the Bible says, because we don't have access to God's reasons. So God could have a reason to deceive you about all that. So without like getting too much into it, yeah, and then so these guys were just crazy. I think that the argument in the beginning was pretty good. If the Christian God exists, I would know it. It's not the case that I know it, therefore the Christian God doesn't exist. I think that argument is good on just if you concede that God is like friendly or revelatory and God's all powerful. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, later. Got to work on the way to end these things, but